Hello students, today I am going to start the introduction chapter of biology, the cell, the fundamental unit of life. Okay, first we know the term biology. What is biology? In which we study the living organism, biology. Bio means living and logy means study. In biology we will study the living organism. The chapter name is cell. Cell is called the structural and functional unit of life. Why it is called structural and fundamental unit of life? Cell is the structural and functional unit of life. Why? Because all the living organisms are made up of cells. So it is a structural unit. Functional unit because all the metabolic activities or functions are controlled by the cell. So cell is the structural and functional unit of life. Okay? In this chapter you have to learn the name of many scientists. So the important name of these scientists are, first name which you have to learn, Robert Hooke. Robert Hooke first time discovered the cell. He discovered the cell in the dead cell, cork. What does cork? Bark of the tree is cork. उन्होंने सबसे पहली बार सेल को डिस्कवर किया था and he coined the term the cell. So the scientist name is Robert Hooke. First name you have to learn. First I am introducing the name of the scientist which you have to learn for this chapter. Second name of the scientist which is used in this chapter is Robert Brown. Robert Brown name itself indicate what does he discovered or name, the nucleus. Robert, but N is in the last. So N, Robert Brown, N is in the last. So he discovered nucleus. So itself, its name में ही तुम्हें याद हो जाएगा कि ये इन्होंने nucleus को discover किया है. Third, Robert Hooke discovered the dead cells. Leeuwenhoek is the third name of the scientist which you have to learn. L for living cell. Leeuwenhoek discovered the living cell in the pond. L for L, Leeuwenhoek discovered the first living cell in the pond. Free. Four scientists, you have to learn the scientist name Purkinje. P for P. He coined the term protoplasm. But what does protoplasm means? Protoplasm is the term which is used for cytoplasm plus nucleus is the protoplasm. Protoplasm term was coined by the scientist Purkinje. बच्चों मेरे साथ नाम को प्रोनाउंस करोगे तो लर्न करने में हेल्प मिलेगी. प्रोनाउंस करना पहले आना चाहिए, फिर तुम उसको लर्न भी कर सकते हो इजीली. Fifth name of the scientist, Chandan and Schwann. They proposed the cell theory. Chandan and Schwann. Sound आ रही है. Cell theory. Sound आ रही है. So Chandan and Schwann will give the cell theory. Cell theory was further expanded by the scientist, and the name of the scientist is Virchow, which added a point to cell theory. So he expanded the cell theory. Expand किया है उन्होंने cell theory को by giving a point. Next name is Camillo Golgi. Name से ही indicate हो रहा है he coined the term or discovery for Golgi apparatus. Golgi apparatus. So you have to learn the name of these scientists. These scientists' names are important for class 9 and for various competition exams. Okay? First, now we will learn about the cell theory. All the living, first point of the cell theory which was given by Chandan and Schwann, that all the living organisms are made up of cell. This is the first point. Second point, the cell is the structural and functional unit of life. This is the second point. The third point which was given by Virchow was that all the new living organisms are formed by the pre-existing living organisms. कोई भी नया सेल्स पुराने सेल से ही फॉर्म होके आता है, कहीं अपने आप से नहीं आ जाता. कई बार तुम लोग को लगता होगा ब्रेड में फंगस लग गया है, शायद अपने आप लग गया होगा. ऐसा नहीं होता है. वो ब्रेड होती है डेड, फिर फंगस कैसे लग गया है. एनवायरमेंट में जो स्पोर्स प्रेजेंट हैं फंगस के, तो उनको ब्रेड एक ग्रोइंग मीडियम की तरह एक्ट करता है. वहाँ स्पोर्स आकर पॉलीफरेट होते हैं, ग्रो करते हैं, और फिर वहाँ वो फंगस हमें दिखाई पड़ता है. So this point was given by Virchow that all the new cells arises from pre-existing cells only. We now will discuss the shape of the cells. The shape of cells are yes. Now the shape of the cell. Shape of cells can be varied. It can be cuboidal, spherical, cuboid, elliptical, कोई भी shape हो सकती है. But important one is कि name the cells which can change their shape. In our body, WBCs can change the shape, and in unicellular organelles, amoeba can change its shape. So 1 mark के लिए important question. Then number of cells can be varied in living organelles. जैसे unicellular organelles, uni means one and multi means many. So in unicellular organelles, it is composed of only one cell. तो एक ही सेल सारे functions perform करती है. Examples are very important. Amoeba, Plasmodium, Chlamydomonas, yeast, एक तरह का fungus होता है. They all are examples of unicellular organisms. In multicellular, human beings, insects, fishes, all are examples of multicellular living organisms. Next is the cell organelles. Cells have different components within them, which are called cell organelles. You must be knowing the name of some cell organelles: mitochondria, Golgi apparatus, nucleus. These all are the cell organelles. Ternary organelles of the cell are called cell organelles. Next, I am starting with the structure of different components of the cell. First, the outer covering of the cell is called plasma membrane. जो सेल को आउटर वर्ल्ड से सेपरेट करती है, that membrane is called plasma membrane or cell membrane. What are the features of plasma membrane? It is very important. It is thin, delicate, living and phospholipid layer. इससे ये बनी हुई होती है. The important function of plasma membrane and its important property is it is selectively permeable. Permeable word is from the word permission or permit. Selectively permeable. It will allow only certain molecules to get in and allow certain molecules to get out of the cell. So the plasma membrane is called selectively permeable membrane. It's a very important topic. And ये होता क्या है, इसका काम क्या है? सेल को आउटर एक्सटर्नल वर्ल्ड से सेपरेट करना, ये प्लाज्मा मेम्ब्रेन का इम्पॉर्टेंट फंक्शन होता है. नेक्स्ट द टर्म विच आर आल्सो इम्पॉर्टेंट फॉर दिस चैप्टर आर डिफ्यूजन एंड ऑस्मोसिस. नाउ वी विल डिस्कस अबाउट डिफ्यूजन. In diffusion is the spontaneous movement of molecules from high concentration to low concentration. This term is called diffusion. I am taking an example of amoeba. This is amoeba. If inside the cell of amoeba there is low concentration of oxygen in comparison to the outer atmosphere, then oxygen will get in by the process of diffusion. If inside the cell of amoeba there is high concentration of CO2 in comparison to outside world, then CO2 will move out. So this diffusion is the spontaneous movement of molecules from high concentration to low concentration, and diffusion plays an important role in the gases exchange. जो यूनिसेलुलर ऑर्गेनिज्म हैं वो डिफ्यूजन के थ्रू ही गैसेस एक्सचेंज में हेल्प होती है उनकी, उससे वो गैसेस एक्सचेंज करते हैं. व्हाट इज ऑस्मोसिस? ये एक जनरल सी ऑब्जर्वेशन है, नहीं देखी है तो आज करके देख सकते हो। रेजिन्स, किशमिश को इफ यू डिप इन वाटर आफ्टर सम टाइम यू विल फाइंड कि वो स्वेलअप हो जाती हैं। वो जिस प्रोसेस से स्वेलअप हुई हैं दैट इज कॉल्ड ऑस्मोसिस। इन केस ऑफ ऑस्मोसिस ओनली वाटर मॉलिक्यूल्स कैन मूव। इन डिफ्यूजन कोई भी मॉलिक्यूल जा सकता है फ्रॉम हाई कंसेंट्रेशन टू लो कंसेंट्रेशन, but in case of osmosis only water molecules to allow in and out of the cell. If concentration outside the cell of water is high and inside water है low concentration में, then water will move in and this membrane which allows only water molecules to get in it, then this is called semi-permeable membrane. So definition of osmosis is very important. In osmosis, water molecules can move from high water concentration to low water concentration through a membrane, through a semi-permeable membrane. This process is called osmosis. I am repeating it again. In osmosis, water molecules move from high water concentration to low water concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. This process is called osmosis. Now, if cell के अंदर पानी जा रहा है, then it is called endosmosis. If cell से बाहर पानी आ रहा है, then it is called exosmosis. If we dip in water, then water get in. It is an example of endosmosis. If raisins को डाल दे in highly concentrated solution, swollen raisin को डाल दो in highly concentrated solution of sugar, you will find कि the raisins will shrink. ठीक है, तो exosmosis में पानी निकल कर आएगा बाहर, and in this case water molecules is getting in. So this is an example of endosmosis. ऐसा नहीं है कि पानी केवल अंदर ही जाएगा, बाहर नहीं आ सकता, बाहर भी आता है, बट अगर हाई कंसेंट्रेशन ऑफ वाटर बाहर है, पानी के कम मॉलिक्यूल्स बाहर निकलते हैं, अंदर ज्यादा जाते हैं, तो ओवरऑल रिजल्ट इज द सेल विल स्वेल अप. इन नेक्स्ट वीडियो बच्चों आई विल डिस्कस अबाउट हाइपोटोनिक, hypertonic solution, isotonic solution and some of the functions of cell organelles and their structures. Hope बच्चों you will enjoy it. I hope so कि you will enjoy it and learn it बच्चों. ठीक है, मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट वीडियो में. बाय बच्चों. लाइक एंड सब्सक्राइब माय वीडियो बच्चों.